Major League Baseball is back, and that means it's time to remind ourselves of who the best players in Major League Baseball are. And today I'm going to be talking about the top 50 players for the upcoming 2026 MLB season. I will, of course, be putting a lot of stock into previous seasons as well as what I expect this upcoming season to be, so this isn't necessarily what a player did in 2025. Somebody like Yordan Alvarez, who did not play a lot of baseball in 2025, he's going to be on this list because he's going to be a top 50 player in 2026 if he stays healthy. I'm also assuming that people are going to stay healthy on this list because I don't want to assume injuries. That's not fun. Let's get into number 50. Starting out this list, I have one of the most underrated players in Major League Baseball, in Wyatt Langford. Wyatt Langford, he has superstar potential. He's a true 5-tool player. You can look at the baseball reference page, nothing really pops out at you except that WAR, which is incredible, but everything is consistently good across the board other than batting average. And if you go to the baseball savant page, you can see that he's one of the fastest players in baseball, has some of the best range in baseball, takes a ton of walks. He does a lot of things very well. I think this is going to be a true breakout season for Wyatt Langford, and he's already been really good throughout his career. Coming in at number 49 on the list, but also the second best third baseman in baseball. I can't believe how quickly the third base position has completely fallen off. There's only 2 guys in my top 50. Also, on the bottom of the screen, you'll be able to see where they are ranked position-wise. Top right corner is going to be the overall. Bottom right corner is going to be the position rank. So you can see Junior Caminero is 49th overall, but second in third baseman. Kind of crazy. I almost didn't put Junior Caminero on this list at all because I'm really concerned about what might happen to him in 2026. He was a minor league field merchant last year. He was incredible, don't get me wrong. He hit 45 home runs with a 4.4 WAR and an 846 OPS. But so much of that damage came at that minor league park. If you look at the home and away splits, you can see that the OPS was over 200 points higher in his home games at George Steinbrenner Field. That is a little bit concerning considering they're going back to Tropicana. But because Junior Caminero just hit 50 home runs almost and has the best bat speed in all of baseball with insane hard hit rates, I have to keep him in the top 50, but he's definitely falling off because I'm concerned about what he's going to do not at the minor league stadium. If he has another season like he just had, yeah, he'll be higher on this list next year for sure. This next player is another player that's at an extremely weak position right now, and he's also second at his position group, and that is Mike Trout in center field. Mike Trout in 2026 is not going to be Mike Trout like he was in 2014. However, he's on this list until he retires, in my opinion. I can't take him out of the top 50. I'm putting him at 48. I still think he's really good when he's healthy, and like I said, I'm going to assume that he stays healthy this year for this video. I don't think he's going to have 600 at-bats, but we are going to say that he has a decent amount of at-bats. And if you look at the baseball savant page, he's still really good. He does have a strikeout problem now, which is strange, but he still crushes the ball. He's still decently fast, and he's moving back to center field, so maybe the athleticism will come out a little bit more again. I still believe that Mike Trout can have another 40 home run season, and I want it to happen so bad. We need prime Mike Trout back. We've made our way to a much stronger position, and that is left field, and I'm going to be talking about the 5th best left fielder, Riley Green. Riley Green is a very good player, but he's limited because of his strikeouts. He strikes out way too much. I'm not somebody that cares too much about strikeouts, but Riley Green is striking out too much. He hit 36 home runs last year. He still had an 806 OPS. He was still extremely good, but he struck out way too much. Like I said, he led the American League in strikeouts with over 200, but this was the second year in a row that he was an all-star. So he's still really good even when he strikes out this much. The Savant page is okay, nothing too good except the bat speed and the barrel percentage, but he did hit 60 home runs over the last 2 seasons, and that obviously is really good. If he can find a way to limit the strikeouts, he will be a much better player, but it doesn't really seem like his swing path is going to allow for that. Either way, he's still 47th on this list. Jackson Chourio has already played almost 300 games in Major League Baseball, and he's not even 22 years old yet. He is one of the most five-tool players in baseball in my opinion, and that gives me a lot of hope for his future. I don't think last year he would say that he had his best season ever, although he still did hit 21 home runs, stole 20 bases, and had a pretty good 270 batting average. And when you look at the defensive stats, he was also above average there and one of the fastest players in baseball. Jackson Chourio has not reached his full potential yet, and I think he's easily a top 50 player in baseball. He's my 4th best left fielder, and he's my 46th best player overall. And before I get into the next part of this list, please consider subscribing. I'm close to 30k, and I really would like to hit 30k before the start of the season maybe. That would be awesome. Less than 5% of you are. Thank you. And let's get into the top 45. On MLB's top 100 player list, they had this next guy, Nick Kurtz, much higher than I have him. And I have him at 45 as the 6th best first baseman in baseball. Kurtz was one of the best players in baseball last year, and that's undeniable. He hit 36 home runs with a 290 batting average and a 383 on base percentage, 619 slugging, good for a 1.002 OPS. He was insane. The Savant page is an absolute sea of red when it comes to hard hit percentage, walks, everything that you would want other than strikeouts and defense. But defense doesn't really matter, he's a first baseman. Either way, Kurtz is one of the best players in baseball. I just need to see it a little bit more before I can call him like a top 30 player in baseball, because first base is a position where there's a lot of really good hitters. To be like a top 20 player as a first baseman, you have to be one of the more consistent players in baseball over an extended period of time, in my opinion. That's why I'm putting him at 45, but he's still incredible. Don't get me wrong. If he has another season like that, he's going into the top 25 next year, guaranteed. But I want to see if the league catches up to him a little bit first before I really commit to going all in on Kurtz. At number 44, we have the first pitcher on the list, and it's the 12th best pitcher in my opinion, and that is Jacob deGrom. We finally had a healthy season of Jacob deGrom in 2025, and he was very good once again, with a 2.97 ERA, in 30 starts. He also threw 172 innings and had 185 strikeouts. He was very good at limiting walks, striking guys out, getting chase. He still throws 97 miles per hour, if not harder. He's still at a sub-3 ERA. Jacob deGrom is still one of the best pitchers in baseball. He's not the best pitcher in the game anymore, but he's one of the best, and he's easily on the top 50 list in my opinion. Cody Bellinger is my 3rd left fielder on this list so far, and the 3rd best left fielder in baseball heading into 2026 in my opinion. He had a bounce back year in his first season as a New York Yankee last year. He had over a 5 WAR, hit 29 home runs with a 272 batting average and a 125 OPS plus. Defensively, he was one of the best players in the game with an incredible arm and insane range in the outfield, and he just didn't strike out. He was very good last year. He's back in New York. The short porch is his best friend, and I think he's going to have another top 50 MLB season. I mentioned before that consistency is going to go a long way on this list, and Logan Webb is the absolute model of consistency in my opinion. The 29-year-old just constantly puts up ERAs in the low 3s, and 2025 was no different with a 3.2 ERA and over 220 strikeouts. The crazy part about those 224 strikeouts, he's a ground ball pitcher. He's not even a guy who looks for strikeouts. He gets them anyway though, because his sinker is just so dominant. Logan Webb is going to be good until the day he retires, it feels like. Of course Logan Webb is going to be in the top 50 players. I have him as the 11th best pitcher and the 42nd player overall. Nico Hoerner was magically left off of MLB's top 100 player list, and I wonder if they had their brains melted out of their ears while they were making that list for leaving this player off. Nico Hoerner is the best old school player in baseball. He has a 300 batting average basically every single season, and he plays some of the best defense in baseball, and steals a ton of bases as well. He is an incredible second baseman. He's the second ranked second baseman on this list, and he had over a 6 WAR last year. The Savant page is definitely silly to look at, where it's either an extremely good or an extremely bad, but that's because he doesn't care about hitting the ball hard. He doesn't care about not chasing because he's not going to strike out anyway, and he doesn't care about walking because he's going to put the ball in play. The defense plays at second base, obviously, and that batting average, you don't need anything else if he's going to get on base as often as he does. He's a top 50 player for sure. Starting out the top 40, I have another first baseman, and again, this guy could be a little bit higher if I was more high on first baseman, but I'm not. Pete Alonso is the 40th ranked player on this list. I don't really need to explain what Pete Alonso is. You already know what he is. He's gonna hit home runs, he's not gonna play defense, he's not gonna give you anything on the base paths, and he's not really gonna get on base too often either. Well, that's a little bit of an exaggeration. Last year he had a really solid 272 batting average, but that's not normally who he is. Maybe he'll be that guy again in 2026. Either way, he's gonna hit like 40 homers, so he's going to be a top 40 player. I'm putting him at 40. I love Jeremy Pena. Jeremy Pena is one of the best 5-tool players in the league, and I know I've said that a lot so far in this video. Pena is actually one of the best 5-tool players in the game. Although I think all of the guys that I've said are, this guy really is. He's insane. He's a gold glover. He's super fast. Like, I don't think you guys realize how fast this guy is. He hits for average, he can hit you some home runs, he'll steal bases, he'll hit doubles, he does everything well. If you look at the Savant page, he's not necessarily the biggest threat in the batter's box, but the fielding and base running is so valuable for Jeremy Pena. I think he's one of the best players in baseball. I think he's really underrated. I'm putting him at 39 as the 9th best shortstop. Shortstop is a loaded position. When I was talking about Logan Webb being the model of consistency as a pitcher, I think his teammate Rafael Devers is equally as consistent from the batter side. You know what you're getting out of Devers. He's going to give you a 270 batting average with a 350 on base percentage, around a 500 slugging, around an 850 OPS, and he's going to hit you around 30 to 35 home runs. That's what you're getting out of him. It pains me to say that he's teammates with Logan Webb, by the way. That really hurt to say out loud. I didn't like it at all as a Red Sox fan. Devers is a first baseman now. He's my 5th best first baseman. Like Pete Alonso, he does the thing that you know that he's going to do. He's going to hit home runs for you. Even though he's a San Francisco Giant who don't hit home runs, he's going to continue to hit home runs. He's Rafael Devers. My 10th best pitcher on the list, all he needs is to stay healthy. If Hunter Green can give you a 30 start season, he's a top 10 pitcher in baseball, easily in my opinion. He throws 100 miles per hour, strikes everyone out, doesn't really walk that many guys, and has a sub 3 ERA in each of the last 2 seasons. He just hasn't pitched enough to really be one of the best players in baseball yet. He's only 26 years old, he has a lot of time to develop, and he's just disgusting. I have to put him at the 10th best pitcher in the league, in my opinion. Some people might think that that's a little high for him. I don't. He's one of the best players in baseball. Speaking of someone that I might be a little bit aggressive on, this next guy at 36, the 9th best pitcher in baseball, is Cole Ragans. Ragans did not have a good year in 2025. I think even he would admit that after a stellar 2024 campaign. But he was injured, and look at what he did. He struck out 38% of batters that he faced. That's insane. He gets insane strikeout stuff, the best in baseball. And look at the expected ERA, 2.6 expected ERA, and he gave up a 4.6. The baseball gods were just not on his side in only 61 innings. I think when he has a full season, if he pitches a full season, that luck will balance back out, and he's going to be one of the best pitchers in baseball. I feel very comfortable putting him at 36 as the 9th best pitcher in the league. He deserves to be here. Right in front of him, I have another left-handed pitcher, and this one's going to be Max Fried. Max Fried is a little bit better than Cole Ragans in my opinion, but there's a real chance that Ragans is better than him next year. Fried had a very good first season with the New York Yankees. He does a lot of things very well. He keeps the ball on the ground, he gets a decent amount of strikeouts, he limits the hard contact. That's basically it. Max Fried, he's just a really good pitcher. He deserves to be a top 35 player in baseball. Let me ask you a question. Do you know who had the highest hard hit percentage in Major League Baseball last year? No, it wasn't Aaron Judge, it wasn't Shohei Ohtani, it wasn't Kyle Schwarber. It was Roman Anthony, the 21-year-old Red Sox left fielder. He is the second best left fielder in the league in my opinion, and he could easily be number one at the end of the year. He played insane defense last year with 6 outs above average in just 250 at-bats. That's like a third of the season. A little bit more than a third of the season, but that's around a third of the season as a leadoff hitter. And he had 6 outs above average. He was insane. He also, like I said, had the highest hard hit percentage out of any player in Major League Baseball with over 150 at-bats last year. The average exit velocity was also one of the best in baseball. He doesn't chase, he walks a ton. His only hole in his game really is the strikeout stuff. But if you look at his stats from when he became the leadoff hitter of the Boston Red Sox in 2025, he was hitting over 330. He's one of the best players in baseball. He deserves to be a top 40 player. I don't care about the sample size. I know I said I did with Kurtz. I do a little bit because if not for the sample size, Roman Anthony would be a top 20 player. So I'm still being conservative, putting him at 34. This guy might win an MVP next year, if it wasn't for Aaron Judge. Matt Olson is very good, and people don't talk about that enough. I don't really feel like I ever hear Matt Olson come up when we're talking about the best first baseman in baseball, but I'd rather have this guy than Pete Alonso. I'd rather have him than Nick Kurtz right now. I'd rather have him than a lot of guys. And part of that is because he's a multi-time Gold Glover. Or if he hasn't won the Gold Gloves, he certainly deserves them because he is the best defensive first baseman in baseball. And did I mention that he hits 30 plus home runs every year and sometimes hits 50? In 10 seasons in his career, he has 288 home runs and a 860 career OPS. He's insane. He deletes baseballs and he plays Gold Glove defense. He's incredible. He deserves to be a top 40 player, and I don't think that he gets enough love in the MLB community. I felt weird ranking Trey Turner this low as the 8th best shortstop in baseball, especially because he's still the fastest player in baseball. With 17 outs above average at shortstop last year, since when did Trey Turner know how to field? That's a new thing for him. He's always been bad at that. He also stole 36 bases and batted over 300 last year. His career batting average is almost 300. I might be underrating Trey Turner right now, but he's getting a little bit older. Either way, it's clear that the athleticism isn't going away, so I might be underrating him, but I have to put him here. I can't really put him ahead of the other guys. Let me know if you disagree with this though. I would be open to changing my mind about this ranking for sure. Chris Sale is going to be pitching in his age 37 season, but it hasn't mattered with how good he is. Chris Sale is insane when he's healthy. In 2024, he won the Triple Crown in the National League, winning a Cy Young, the first of his career, and in 2025, he was really good even though he didn't pitch that much. In 21 starts, he pitched 125 innings and struck out 165 guys with a sub 2.6 ERA. The Savant page still looks insane, the slider is still unhittable, the fastball is still really good. He's just one of the best pitchers in baseball. I have him as the 7th best pitcher in baseball. He could easily win another Cy Young next year though, he's that dominant. I'm taking a bit of a gamble here on number 30. Putting Elly De La Cruz as a top 30 player in baseball is risky. Elly is insane. He is the most toolsy player in all of baseball. His power is insane. His speed is otherworldly. His arm is ridiculous, his defense can be good, and he strikes out too much. But last year, he hit 22 home runs with 37 stolen bases. The year before that, he hit 25 home runs with 67 stolen bases, and he's consistently a 260 hitter. If he can start hitting more home runs, which he's definitely capable of doing with his power, and still having the speed and gap-to-gap double power, he's easily a top 30 player in baseball. I feel pretty comfortable putting him here. I think Elly De La Cruz is going to break out like crazy this year. A guy who absolutely broke out last year out of seemingly nowhere was Geraldo Perdomo. He just puts the ball in play. He walks. He fields. He's kind of like Nico Horner, but he walks and he plays shortstop and isn't as fast, but he still stole 27 bases. The thing with Perdomo is he can hit the ball a little bit harder than Nico most of the time. He hit 20 home runs. I don't know if Perdomo is going to be a 290 batting average. I don't know if Perdomo is going to be a almost 300 batting average, almost 400 on base average kind of guy again next year, but I'm going to keep him at the 29th best player in baseball. It would be very disrespectful to drop him much lower than that. He puts the ball in play and he plays good defense. He's a good player. At number 28, I have the NL runner-up for the Cy Young, Christopher Sanchez. Now, this is position rank 6 for pitchers. I could have put him a spot or two higher in the pitchers, but I'm gonna leave him here because I want to see it a little bit more. Christopher Sanchez was really good in 2023 and 2024, but he was significantly better in 2025, and most of that is due to his insane changeup. His changeup is one of the best pitchers in baseball, and his changeup and sinker combination has gotten him almost a 60% ground ball rate, which is 96th percentile in baseball. He strikes out a ton of guys along with that. He doesn't give up hard contact, and he doesn't walk anyone. Christopher Sanchez is an insanely good player. Everyone left is insanely good. We're in the top 28 players in the league. Christopher Sanchez is a franchise pitcher. By the way, I did just want to mention I don't have Zach Wheeler on this list because I don't know anything about his injury. I don't know when he's coming back. I don't know if he's going to be 100%. I'm just staying away from Zach Wheeler. I'm concerned about his future. I don't want to put him on this list because I really don't know what he's going to be. He would be on this list if he was healthy for sure. I just wanted to throw that out there about Zach Wheeler. Another thing, I don't know if it was announced yet, is Mookie Betts the Dodgers shortstop in 2026 like he was in 2025? Mookie wasn't that good last year. He really wasn't. After an insane 2023, which was one of his best career seasons, if not his best season, he followed that up with a very good 2024, but a not good 2025. I'm willing to give Mookie the benefit of the doubt though, because he had that weird sickness in spring training, and I don't think his body really ever recovered from that. He's an undersized guy already, so losing a bunch of weight with the flu or whatever he had in spring training, that was not a good recipe for Betts. Either way, you know who Mookie Betts is. I'm a little bit worried about the bat speed being awful now, and he wasn't really hitting the ball hard last year, but he still doesn't strike out. He played good defense at shortstop because Mookie Betts can do anything athletically. I'm a little bit worried that he's not going to be a top 25 player in baseball anymore, but Mookie Betts is still a top 50 player in baseball for sure. I'm putting him at 27, a little bit conservative, but I don't know what he's going to be next year. Hopefully he's good though. I love Mookie. Bryce Harper is the same age as Mookie Betts, and I kind of feel similarly about Harper as I do Betts. The Savant page isn't as good as it's always been for Harper, but his counting stats were definitely a lot better than Mookie's. He hit 27 home runs last year. He's still at an 850 OPS. Bryce Harper is still insane. He is striking out and swinging and missing a little bit more than he used to, and he's just not hitting the ball as hard as he used to when he was in his prime. I'm not concerned about Bryce Harper. I'm not concerned about Mookie Betts either. Again, they're just missing the top 25 players in the league. I do have to mention that they're both 33 years old, and they're going to get a little bit worse with age. So I'm putting him just outside of the top 25 at 26, the third best first baseman in baseball. Still very good. You guys might have a problem with me putting Hunter Brown over Christopher Sanchez, but I'm definitely going to do it. I think Hunter Brown is insane. He gives up no hard hits. He strikes out everyone. He gets a good amount of ground balls as well. And he had a 2.4 ERA last year. His expected ERA was a little bit higher, but not really enough to concern me whatsoever. His Savant page is a sea of red. I think he's a top 5 pitcher in baseball. I don't really have a lot more else to say about him. He's just really good. He's the 25th best player in my opinion. The first catcher on the list is the 24th ranked player in baseball, and only the second best catcher on the list. Only the second one that'll be on the list, it's Will Smith. Will Smith had an insane season last year, a 900 OPS. I didn't know that. He batted almost 300 with a 400 on base percentage, 96 percentile walk rate, 96 percentile chase rate, with really good hard hit rate and stuff like that. Will Smith was insane last year. He's easily cemented himself as the second best catcher in baseball. Number one, you'll have to stick around to find out who that is, but I bet you already know. Will Smith's teammate is up next, and it's another model of consistency guy. Freddie Freeman is always going to be a consistently good MLB hitter, with around an 850 OPS, sometimes even higher, around a 300 batting average, and decent defense at first base. He was bad defensively last year, but I don't really know if that's going to continue. Freddie Freeman, I would like to put him higher because he's so productive, but I can't really put a first baseman too much higher. I just don't like doing it, especially one that doesn't hit too many home runs. I'm going to put him at 23. I think that's the highest I can go with him, but Freddie Freeman is an insanely good player, even at age 36. Another player I would love to be higher with is Yordan Alvarez, the absolute monster hitter. Yordan Alvarez has a 962 career OPS. Last year, he wasn't as good because he was injured all year. The 2 years before that, he had a 960 OPS and a 990 OPS with 35 home runs and 31 home runs respectively. He's always around a 300 batting average, always around a 390 on base percentage, and the slugging is always above 550. Look at the Savant page. Even though he had a down year, everything is red. He's insane. If you look at a year like 2024 where he stayed healthy, yeah. This guy is one of the best players in baseball. He just deletes them. They don't exist anymore. He's the third best DH in baseball, in my opinion. We're moving on to the fourth best shortstop, and that is Corey Seager. Corey Seager, much like Yordan Alvarez, is still a monster. His best season was in 2023, where he had a 1.013 OPS, which is insane. He also batted .327 that year, by the way, with 33 home runs. Last year, he had an 860 OPS, but played really good defense and walked a ton. He had a 373 on base percentage, almost a 500 slugging, still hit 21 home runs even though he missed about a third of the season. Corey Seager, he's insane. He's just really good. He's just missing the top 20. Going from a former Dodger to a new Dodger to start out the top 20 is Kyle Tucker, the fifth best right fielder, even though there's only 19 spots left. Right field is a very good position in my opinion. Kyle Tucker is a 5-tool player. He's going to play decent defense. He's okay speed. Last year he stole 25 bases and he missed some time. He's really always stealing bases. He hits for a pretty good average, hits for a lot of power, especially in 2024. In 2024, he was having a historic season, even though he only played half of the season, and he just does everything pretty well. He walks a ton, and this guy getting headed to the Los Angeles Dodgers, it's a joke. They're too good. They're too good of a team. The only thing that I see some people say against Kyle Tucker is that he doesn't really care that much. Like, he doesn't have that much passion. But who cares if you have a 993 OPS? He's insane. He's one of the best players in baseball. He's 20th. This could be a guy that you flip with the last guy for sure. You could put this guy at 20 and Kyle Tucker at 19, and I wouldn't be surprised. I'm talking about Kyle Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber's last 3 seasons home run totals are 56, 38, and 47. He's only 32 years old still. It sometimes feels like he's a little bit older than that. And in 11 seasons, he has 340 career home runs. If he hits 50 a year, he's going to be in the 500 home run club in like 3 years. Maybe 4 years, maybe 5 years. Either way, I'm just saying, Kyle Schwarber is going to be a 500 home run hitter. This guy is crazy good. He's gonna strike out, he's gonna give you nothing on defense, but I'm listing him as a DH for this video. He's the second best DH. You probably know who number 1 is, but look at the Savant page and the amount of reds. If you're 100, you're the best player in baseball at that thing, basically, or like top 3. There's 100 on here, there's a couple of 99s, a couple of 98s, a 97. He's crazy good with the bat. That's all he does, but he's insane with it. I'm giving him a top 20 player ranking. Next up, the third best shortstop, Gunnar Henderson. Gunnar Henderson is a freak. That's all I have to say about Gunnar. I don't really know what else to say about him. In 2024, he broke out in a big way with almost a 900 OPS. Last year, he had a slow start to the season with an injury and wasn't quite the same guy. He only hit 17 home runs instead of 37 the previous season, but he did steal 30 bases, so the speed is becoming more of a game, and that's pretty scary if he goes back to the power that he had a few seasons ago. His on-base percentage didn't change very much. His slugging changed a lot, but there's still a lot of things to like about Gunnar Henderson, and I think he's going to benefit greatly from having Pete Alonso in the same lineup as him. I have a lot of faith in Gunnar Henderson. I think he's a top 18 player in the league. Corbin Carroll would have been a top 10 player probably, if not for the simple fact that he's injured right now. I don't know how injured well, I do know how injured he is. He has a broken hamate and he just had surgery on it, but I don't know how long he's going to be out for and how much it's going to impact him. Look at the 2025 hit spray chart. Yellow is triples. He hit so many triples, it's ridiculous. He also hit 31 home runs, 32 stolen bases, and an 880 OPS. Also, he had 10 outs above average, is one of the fastest players in baseball, and hit absolute missiles whenever he got the chance. His bat speed is crazy. Corbin Carroll is one of the best players in baseball. I have him as the 4th best right fielder in baseball, but he'd be the 2nd best if not for his injury. But because of that, I'm going to lower him a little bit because I'm not too sure if he's going to have his strength, because sometimes the hamate bone, you can come back, but your strength isn't necessarily there yet. Either way, he's a top 20 player, even with the injury, in my opinion. This is the first time that we have had the best player at a position on this list, and it's only the 2nd center fielder, but Julio Rodriguez is the best center fielder in baseball. And by the way, that does mean I did leave Pete Crow Armstrong off of this list. Let me know if you disagree with that. I was close to putting him on the list, but I don't know if that strikeout stuff is going to really be able to maintain his skill set. He was bad in the second half, and I'm a little worried about that translating into this upcoming season. Either way, we're not here to talk about PCA, we're here to talk about J-Rod. J-Rod is very good. He had his 2nd career 30-30 season last year, and he's 25 years old. He's ridiculous. He's also one of the best defenders in baseball with 11 outs above average and a crazy arm strength. Sprint speed's insane, obviously, because he steals 30 bases a season. His power is really good. His bat speed, he swings a twig. He does have a little bit of a strikeout problem, and he doesn't walk enough because he chases too much. Either way, it doesn't really matter to me. Julio Rodriguez is one of the best players in baseball, the best center fielder in the league for sure, in my opinion, and he's just missing out on being a top 15 player. He's number 16. Starting out the top 15, I have Francisco Lindor, who also is dealing with a hamate thing, but I don't think it's as bad as Corbin Carroll's if I remember correctly. Looking at the Savant page, I'm a little bit worried about this prediction because it's not that good. He doesn't really do anything as well as I thought he did, but he did have a 30-30 season last year like Julio Rodriguez, so I'm not too concerned. He doesn't really hit the ball that hard, he doesn't really swing the bat that hard, but he does play really good defense, and he's average speed. There's not a lot to say about Francisco Lindor, except this is the 2nd time in 3 years that he's gone 31-31 for home runs and stolen bases, and the time that he didn't, he went 33-29, so he's had exactly 62 home runs plus stolen bases each of the last 3 seasons. You know what you're getting out of Francisco Lindor, and it's a top 15 player in baseball. He's gotta be top 15. It's been over 10 positions since the last time I've talked about a pitcher, and I'm talking about the World Series MVP Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I think he has to be the 4th best pitcher in baseball. I understand that people are going to want to put him 3. I can't do it. I think the 3rd best pitcher is definitely better than him. But either way, Yamamoto is insane with a 2.49 ERA last year in 30 starts with a sub 1 whip and 200 plus strikeouts. He gets hit kind of hard when he gets hit, but he strikes out a lot of guys, limits barrels, gets a ton of ground balls, and the expected batting average and ERA like him just as much as the actual batting average and ERA. As we know, this guy was a monster in the playoffs, one of the best postseason performances we have ever seen, if not the best. Back-to-back complete game shutouts, and he came in extra innings the next day in the World Series and shut it down, winning the Dodgers their second straight World Series. Yamamoto is already a legend for Dodger fans, and he's only in his second season. Yamamoto, he's a top 4 pitcher in baseball. Next on the list, I'm putting the next pitcher. They have to be back-to-back in my opinion because they're so interchangeable. I'm going with the left-handed Red Sox ace, Garrett Crochet. Crochet's baseball savant page doesn't have one thing that he is not in the 2/3 percentile of in all of baseball. If that doesn't tell you how good Garrett Crochet is at literally everything, I don't know what would. He had 255 strikeouts last year in 205 innings. Back-to-back seasons where he started 32 games, he's an absolute workhorse. His expected numbers are really good. His actual numbers are really good. He was super good in the playoffs in his start against the Yankees. Not quite as good as Yamamoto, of course, but I'm putting him 13th on the list, the 3rd best pitcher. You probably know who the 2 pitchers ahead of him are. They've got to be ahead of him. Anyway, let's move on to 12. Ooh, we're getting a little bit hot here with Fernando Tatis Jr. at number 12, ahead of Yamamoto, ahead of Crochet, ahead of Francisco Lindor and J-Rod. Maybe you guys disagree with that. I have him as the 3rd best right fielder in baseball and the 12th best player overall. 27-year-old Fernando Tatis Jr. is ridiculous. He's still one of the best defenders in baseball. He takes his walks and the hard hit rate is there. He got unlucky last year, in my opinion. He was smashing the ball into the ground constantly. His launch angle was extremely low compared to league average, but he still hit 25 home runs and stole 32 bases. I think that this is the season where Fernando Tatis Jr. really comes back into his own. If he stays healthy, this guy is unstoppable, and I think he's going to prove that you guys are writing off Fernando Tatis Jr. way too early. He is one of the best players in baseball. I have him just outside of the top 10 even. This guy is actually the guy just outside of the top 10. It's Ronald Acuna Jr. Back in 2023, if you guys forgot, he had 217 base hits, 41 home runs, 73 stolen bases, a 337 batting average, 416 on base percentage, almost a 600 slugging, and a 1.012 OPS. Unstoppable is Ronald Acuna Jr. Defensively, he's awful, but he does have a cannon for an arm. He's gonna strike out, but he's also going to hit the ball harder than anyone else in the league, basically. Even last year, coming off of injury, I didn't know this, he had a 417 on base percentage because he had a 17% walk rate. 935 OPS coming off of an ACL tear. Ronald Acuna Jr. is a superstar. 11th best player in baseball, in my opinion. 2nd best right fielder. The number 1 first baseman in all of baseball is the first Blue Jay on this list, I think, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, which is kind of crazy. It's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I can't believe that this is the first Blue Jay. I don't think I'm lying about that. I'm pretty sure he's the first one, and it's the 10th best player in baseball. The World Series losers really only have one top 50 player in the league? That is crazy to think about. They're still really good. Anyway, Vlad Jr., he's really good. He doesn't really hit as many home runs as you might want him to, but he does have an insane batting average. He gets on base all the time, and look at his baseball savant page. He doesn't do anything bad. Literally nothing he does wrong. He's very good. He got unlucky last year with the expected batting average. His launch angle is also a little bit of a problem, but Vlad Jr. is the best first baseman in baseball, and he's a top 10 player in baseball in my opinion. He's just so good. He's really the face of that Blue Jays team, obviously, but he's just so good. We're basically getting into all of the best players at their positions at this point, and the best second baseman in baseball, it's Ketel Marte. I mean, is this even debatable. He's the 9th best player in baseball, in my opinion. He's just insane. This guy does not do things that other second basemen do in this league. He hit 25 home runs in 2023, 36 in 2024, and 28 in 2025. He's also always averaging around a 280 batting average, a 350 on base percentage, and 820 OPS. He's just so good. All he is good. He hits the ball hard, he makes contact, doesn't strike out, walks, plays decent enough defense. He's not really fast, but who cares? He's also a switch hitter. Switch hitting is rare and hard to do, especially at the level that Ketel Marte does it. He's incredible. The last guy on this list that is not the best player at his position is the second best starting pitcher in baseball, and that is Tarik Skubal. It pains me to put this guy at number 2. It really does. Last year, he was my number 1. This year, he's got to be my number 2, but he's so good. This guy does everything right. He doesn't walk anyone. He strikes out everyone. 241 strikeouts last year, a 2.21 ERA, 31 starts back-to-back years. He won the Triple Crown in 2024 in the American League. Then he followed that up with another Cy Young the next season, back-to-back Cy Young winning Tarik Skubal. But there's one pitcher in this league that's generational. Skubal is generational as well. All things considered, the guy who's number 1, he's truly generational. You know who it is. I'm not going to spoil it yet, just in case you don't, but you know who he is. But he's not the next player on the list. The next player on the list is Cal Raleigh. I have him a little bit lower than some people might have him, just because I don't think he's going to hit 60 home runs again next year. I just can't see it happening. He is going to be really good again, obviously. He strikes out a lot. The batting average isn't going to be there, but he is going to walk, and he is going to barrel baseballs and hit home runs. He's decent defensively. He used to be really good at it. He's not as good anymore. Switch hitting catcher is crazy, by the way, just right off the bat. One that hits 60 home runs is not even human, but I don't think he's going to hit 60 next year, so I'm lowering him in a little bit. He's obviously the best catcher in baseball. It's not even debatable. He's also the 7th best player in baseball, so I'm not lowering him too much, but all he really does is hit home runs. But if you're going to hit 60, who cares? I just don't think he's going to hit 60 again. I don't see how that would be possible. So I'm putting him at 7th. Just missing out on the top 5 is the richest man in all of Major League Baseball, Juan Soto. Juan Soto had an insane first season as a New York Met. Some people say that he didn't. They're wrong. He had a 921 OPS and stole 38 bases. He hit 43 home runs with a 400 on base percentage practically. Again, 38 stolen bases. He almost went 40-40. How? How? He has 250 career home runs in 8 seasons, and the guy is only 27 years old. He's easily going to be in the 500 home run club. You might be looking at a guy that enters the 600 home run club. He's under contract for the next 14 years. He's going to be playing until I am 36 years old. That's pretty crazy. I just spoiled my age, by the way. Either way, Juan Soto, he got unlucky with the expected batting average too. 288 expected batting average, and he only hit 263. He's going to be even better next year. His weighted on base percentage was the best in baseball. The chase rate is the best in baseball, and the walk rate is the best in baseball. He's the best left fielder in baseball because I think the Mets said that he's playing left field next year, so I listed him as a left fielder. He's the best left fielder in baseball. Hopefully he's good defensively in left field because he's awful defensively in right field. Doesn't matter. He's such a good hitter. He's the 6th best player in baseball. Number 5 on the list is a player that had been underrated for a long time, but now he's properly rated. Jose Ramirez is the 5th best player in baseball. By the way, a lot of switch hitters recently, but really only in the top 15. If you're a switch hitter, you're either really good or you're not a top 50 player in baseball, I guess. The thing that Jose Ramirez has that Juan Soto doesn't is defense and speed. Ramirez is good both defensively and on the base paths. Juan Soto is not. Even though he did steal 38 bases last year, that's not really who he is. The last 2 seasons, Jose Ramirez has stole 41 bases and 44 bases. He hit 39 home runs and 30 home runs. He's right around a 280 batting average. Last year, he had a 360 on base percentage, 500 slugging. He's just really good. You know who Jose Ramirez is. He's a top 5 player in baseball. All right, here's the top pitcher in baseball. German Marquez. Just kidding, it's Paul Skeens. Obviously, it's Paul Skeens. He had a 1.96 ERA in his rookie season. Unfortunately, he did get worse in his second season with a 1.97 ERA. He added 0.01 ERA. Significantly worse player, huh? Last year, he started 32 games, struck out 216 guys, didn't really have the most innings out of any pitcher because the Pirates were not contending and they wanted to keep him safe. That makes sense. The Savant page isn't quite as good as Tarek Skubals, but I don't really think that matters. It's Paul Skeens. He doesn't give up runs. Paul Skeens is ridiculous. I don't really need to talk about why he's the best pitcher in baseball. You know why he's the best pitcher in baseball, and you probably agree with me. Paul Skeens, he's a freak. If Bobby Witt Jr. wasn't playing in the generation of two absolute titans of the game who are going to be 1 and 2, Bobby Witt Jr. would be the best player in baseball. He's the best defensive infielder in the game, 24 outs above average last year. He's the fastest player in the game, 30 feet per second for sprint speed. He averages about 35 to 40 stolen bases a season, averages about 28 home runs per season each of the last 3 years for stolen bases and home runs, by the way. He's always hitting around 290, even though in 2024 he hit 332 with a 390 on base and a 977 OPS. Last year, it wasn't as good, but he's still just so good with the defense and the speed. He's only 25 years old. He's probably going to get even better. Kansas City also moved their walls in a little bit, so he's also going to get benefits from that as well. Bobby Witt Jr. is the best shortstop in baseball. He's the best infielder in baseball, and he would be the best player in baseball if it wasn't for the next two guys. I'm putting Aaron Judge at 2. I didn't want to do it. I really don't want to put Aaron Judge at 2 because he just had 2 of the best seasons ever. He had a 1.159 OPS, and then he followed that up with a 1.145 OPS. Last year, he had a 688 slugging. The year before that, he had a 700 slugging. He's still not good in the playoffs, but who cares with this guy? He had a 460 on base each of the last 2 seasons. He batted over 320 each of the last 2 seasons. He hit 58 home runs, and then he hit 53 home runs each of the last 2 seasons. His career OPS is over 1 at this point. In just 10 seasons, he has 370 home runs. I wanted to put him at 1 so bad because he is such a generational hitter. Look at the Savant page. He has 5 statistics that are 100th for percentile. He is a top 3 player in the league at 5 things, and he has 2 99s as well. He's very good defensively in right field. He's not that slow, and all he does wrong is he strikes out a little bit, but who cares because he's the best player in baseball that only plays one position. I really wanted to put him at number 1 because he's just so good. His last 2 seasons have been so generational, but you know who's number 1. I don't really need to introduce who he is, but I'm going to anyway. The unicorn, Shohei Ohtani, is number 1, and he has to be number 1 because he pitches. Aaron Judge can do a lot of things, but he can't pitch. And that's going to set him apart, unfortunately for him. Shohei Ohtani has also had a 1. OPS each of the last 3 seasons. He hit 44 home runs, then he hit 54 home runs, then he hit 55 home runs. He had 59 stolen bases in 2024 as well. And last year, when he hit 55 home runs, he was pitching in the World Series as a starting pitcher. He is not real. He's a fake human being. He does the same things that Judge does. Judge does them slightly better, but Ohtani pitches, as I'm sure you're aware. And also, he's really good at pitching. He had a 2.8 ERA last year in 14 games. If he was just an average pitcher, Aaron Judge would be better. But look at the Savant page and how much red is on it. He is so good at pitching. He strikes everyone out, walks no one, doesn't give up any hard contact, and he still throws 98 miles per hour. He's just not a fair human being. He's really not. Shohei Ohtani is just not human. I have him listed as a DH, so he's the best DH in baseball. If Ohtani was pitcher only, he'd be a top 12 pitcher in the game too. I don't know what to say. Shohei Ohtani, he's Shohei Ohtani. Well, that was a long recording and a longer video than I expected it to be, but that's normally how my videos go. If you disagree with anything, I feel like that's a pretty good list. I feel like the right players are there. Somebody that I had on the list, but then I had to take off was Jazz Chisholm Jr. He'd probably be 51 on the list. Yankees fans, don't kill me. Either way, I think that this was a pretty good list. It's hard to make a list like this. If you've never tried, make one yourself. You'll see that it's difficult. and you start to wonder if the players are in the right spots. Thank you so much for watching to this point in the video. If you did, please remember to consider subscribing, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching. I always appreciate it.